Hello, people. I ended my 30-day video challenge on day 21, which was on June 22nd, and that means I need to catch up a lot because I've been super busy with GRL, and I've been super busy with my personal life, and I've been super busy with Pride, volunteering, my actual job that pays me, the one that I have right now anyway, and getting ready for convention and everything. So that's why I haven't been really having any time to do any videos. But let's do a few, and then I'll record a few more tomorrow. Okay, so let's see. Day 22. Have you changed? How have you changed in the past 2 years? In the past 2 years, I feel like I went from a really negative place with the job that I had when I first moved here to a very super positive place. I have found my religion as far as I'm able to practice my religion in a way that makes me feel better about myself emotionally. It gives myself the kind of like self support I need. It lets me realize that things can be just shaken off like every week, and that like holding grudges doesn't need to happen, and that as much as that job must have like really killed me and really made me really negative because I know that all I was doing was complaining to Bonnie or to Noemi or something. Um, I know that it gave me experience, which is nice, and that it changed the way uh, that I think. Um, and it allowed me to find my religion. It allowed me to connect really well with Bonnie. It allowed me to really figure out what I needed and what I deserved and what kind of path I wanted to go on for my educational career and things like that. So um, I started off really bad, I think, in 2009 with that job. I was really excited for the job, and then all of a sudden, pretty quickly, maybe in like November, I felt like this job sucks and I hate it, and it was really bad. And so now I'm in this place where I love my jobs. They don't pay me enough, and they don't give me enough hours. But I love my jobs. I love being able to help kids. I love that I'm in an educational um, place at the same time that I don't need to be in the classroom like teaching 24/7. That I have to create lesson plans and things like that because that stuff it bogs me down. And as much as I love education, like maybe not in the classroom is where I need to be. Maybe I need to be teaching like after school programs or something like that where I'm getting paid a decent amount, but I'm also loving what I do. And who knows, I might return back to the classroom, but I'm thinking about getting taking the CSET, which is the California Standardized Test for like specific subject areas. Taking the CSET for math and seeing how I do, and then maybe teaching math because they're more likely to get hired, and it's in English, so that kids aren't like, oh my god, I hate this class, it's so stupid. Why do we need to learn Spanish? There's a lot of negativity from the students. There was a lot of negativity from the students because they hadn't been exposed to good Spanish classes or good use of Spanish, or they didn't find the point in Spanish, or if they did know Spanish, then they were like, well, I already know this, so what's the point of me learning this anyway? All that kind of stuff. So, um, yeah, I think I've changed a lot in the last 2 years, and definitely for the positive. Um, you know, People like Mary and people like Noemi would say that, that I'm still negative because they're like super positive all the time, which is fine. But they could also probably say that over the last 4 years ish, they've known me, that I have become a lot better at being positive. That I find things a lot more entertaining and amusing easily, and that I don't see the bad side in everything. Um, so that's that. Day 23. Give pictures of 5 guys who are famous who you find attractive. I don't have pictures because I'm in a video. So, let's just talk about famous people that I find attractive. I think number one, it was number one. My number one is difficult, but I would have to say, like, probably in the top five. These guys are all in there. I mean, obviously, I'm telling you the top five. But I would say number one for sure, almost, is Johnny Depp. He's not like super old compared to my age, which is good. A lot of guys that I tend to like seem to be older. Um, and I just find him attractive in like every single role he's played, with the exception of like maybe one or two characters. He's had, a pretty good look. Like for example, Willy Wonka, like he still looks attractive, but it's just like weird because he's pale and he has that weird like bob haircut. Um, and things like that. So, for example, I think my favorite character of him is um, as Pirates of the Caribbean, and as his roles as Pirates of the Caribbean as Jack Sparrow, with his like goatee and his long hair and his like dreads and things that are going on. That's very attractive to me, as far as him, which is funny because like wouldn't necessarily find that attractive on any guy. And in general, he's like one of the exceptions to the rule because I don't really like guys with long hair, but he seems to have a way of pulling it off. But he also looks really, really good with short hair, which I remember one time I like Googled it and I found him in like a suit, a really nice suit, with short hair and a goatee. And he almost always has a goatee. Like it's really rare for him to not have facial hair in some sort of movie. I think like Edward Scissorhands, um, the Mad Hatter as in Alice in Wonderland, and a few others. He didn't have facial hair, but that's about it. Um, the ones that I could think of anyway. Okay, I also find who else do I find attractive? I also find David Bowie highly attractive, although he is like way older than I am. But everybody has like an old famous man crush, right? Like a lot of people have like Sean Connery crushes or like George Clooney crushes. And mine's like David Bowie. And even though he's not like super attractive, I think mostly it's because the fact that he's bisexual, and also because the fact that his role in The Labyrinth was just like beyond like androgynous slash hot. Like he was wearing gray tights and you could see his bulge. And he had on like leather boots and retro hair, and he had a freaking riding crop in that movie. Like he's such a dominatrix. Yes, I said dominatrix in that movie. So I would love that to happen. And even as he gets older, he still is attractive to me. I think in a certain sense. And fun fact, like he got into a fight when he was younger, and one of his eyes like doesn't dilate anymore. I think it's his left one. I'm pretty sure. But I just find that it's so weird because like every picture you see, like one of his eyes is like whoop, and the other is like wah, like because they take photos with lots of light. So I just thought that was hilarious to learn about him. Who else am I attracted to? You know what? From when I was watching ER, like I always found Noah Wiley attractive, and I don't know why, but I do. Like Noah Wiley is like pretty attractive, and like I've seen him in movies, like even in the movie Enough, where he plays like a bad guy. Like I still find him attractive, and I guess maybe it's just because like he has a kind of like a mannish, like I guess maturity about him, but he's like very short, and he still looks like a boy in some roles that he plays, like really young. And I don't know. I can't say that I've ever like watched all of the movies he's in or all the shows that he's been in or anything like that. But I've seen him in ER and I've seen him in a few movies, and I do find him like a pretty good actor. So I can't really say that I complain about his acting either. So that probably helps. Um, let's see. I need two more, right? Famous man that I find attractive. Um, it's really hard. Like, okay, everybody had a crush on Brad Pitt, but I would have to say that Brad Pitt, like, for me, in some cases, he was a lot more attractive than others. Like, I think he was really attractive in Fight Club, but then in other movies, I was just like, ew, gross. I definitely like him with shorter hair and also with facial hair. Um, and shorter hair that's like lighter, but not abnormally lighter than his normal hair color. But I just think he's like one of those people that's like a Renaissance like man kind of face, where it's like you just have a chiseled look. It just looks like that you have a very famous like classic face for a man, and that's who wouldn't find you attractive, that kind of thing. But I've never really found him like sexually attractive because I feel like he has way too many muscles. Like he's always been pretty buff. Um, I don't know. I guess like that's I mean like he's handsome, I guess. Um, and so I find him attractive, but I'm not attracted to him. That would be it. Let's see, one more. Um, it's so funny because like I'm sure if I sat down and thought about like all the famous movies that like people are in and stuff, then I would find somebody that I liked. But I'm just kind of pulling people out of my ass for these last two because I don't want to spend a lot of time thinking about it. So let's see. Who else? Who else? Who else? Oh, definitely John Cusack. I've always liked John Cusack. Like ever since I saw his movies when I was younger, I was like, he is really attractive, and he hasn't really aged. Like, or I mean, at least to me, it doesn't look like he's aged too much since like the '90s. Like when I would watch him in movies, um, I love him in movies. He's like just kind of this weird, nerdy, like totally stereotyped cast member of a movie, but he always plays like that nerdy, weird guy that like ends up getting the girl or whatever. In the end, not always, I guess, but most of the time. I just find him attractive in that kind of like boy next door thing. Like I'm very much into like boys and girls next door. Like your body doesn't need to be perfect, and your face doesn't need to be perfect. Your teeth don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be like super macho and outgoing and strong for a guy, or like super feminine and dainty and stuff for girls. Like you just need to be you, and I'll find you way more attractive than I would like some supermodel that has like a perfect face, perfect body, whatever. So that's that. I have about 3 minutes, so let's do one more. Your favorite movie and what it's about. Oh my god, I kind of already mentioned it. My favorite movie is The Labyrinth, and it's about a guy named David Bowie who dresses up as like this retro, um, monster Goblin King, and this little tiny girl named Sarah. Her name is Sarah, but the person who plays her is named Jennifer Connelly. And in this movie, I think at the time that it was made, David Bowie's like close to 40 or like mid 30s at least. Jennifer Connelly's like 14. Okay, so she's just hitting puberty, even though she looks like she's like an adult already. And she wishes that her baby brother goes away. And when she wishes that her baby brother goes away, the Goblin King, played by David Bowie, comes in and steals her brother away. And then he says, well, if you want to get her back, you have to go through the labyrinth. And she's like, shit. So she goes through the labyrinth, and the whole time, like, David Bowie has this weird, like, intense crush on this girl. And it's like, dude, I don't know why you're in love with this girl, because she's, like, first of all, 14, so that's jailbait. And second of all, like, in the movie, Jennifer Connelly actually is really annoying in the beginning because she's like stuck up and she's just like, ugh, like I hate my brother, like blah blah. But as she goes through this journey and to try to find her brother, she gains all these friends and she learns to be dependent on people, and she learns like how strong she is. And at the end of the movie, if you haven't seen it, I don't want to give it away, but at the end of the movie, like of course, they meet and they like face off and. I think it's a really awesome movie. I've seen it multiple times. It's done by Jim Henson, so there's a lot of puppets in it and things like that. And I just really love the songs. The music's done by David Bowie. He's really attractive in it. Like, what else can you say? I used to watch it a lot when I was a kid. I actually watched Hocus Pocus, the movie, more because I had an attraction to Bette Midler in that movie, and I still think that I do, which is kind of weird because like I don't find Bette Midler attractive like normally, but like in the costume with the red hair and like her giant teeth even, and like the way that she moves, like with her fingers, and she's always like this, like like that. I don't know. I just find her attractive in that movie. But I actually watched that movie more. And when I was younger, I watched the same movies over and over again, like every day. So I would watch like Hocus Pocus at least once or twice a day for like 3 or 4 months straight. And I think The Labyrinth I watched like once a day for like 3 months straight. But I remember it was less than Hocus Pocus. I am just obsessed with that. So there you go. There's days 22, 23, and 24 all put together. I'll record some more tomorrow, or I'll record some more tonight and post them tomorrow, or post them the day after tomorrow, so you can have them. Yeah. So peace out until next time.